What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over 2 stocks that you should buy in December to add to your dividend investing portfolio, your long-term portfolio. So y'all, let's get it. Alright y'all, so I have 2 stocks that I really want to buy and add to my long-term dividend portfolio here in the month of December to just collect those sweet dividend payments time after time, month after month of just this passive income flowing in from these 2 very respected dividend paying companies. So one is one that I actually already have in my portfolio, so I won't spend too much time on that. But the second one is gonna be a new member to my family next month. So make sure you're sticking through this video to get all the goods on that, because I tell you what, it is absolutely beautiful. So this first one, like I said, I already own it. It's already in my portfolio. It's a great, solid, blue chip dividend company, and I'm surprised it's actually slipped my mind so much. Like, I haven't added to it. I only have 1 share. Actually, now that I think about it, it slipped your mind because it just continued to grind higher and higher and higher with like no pullback whatsoever, no big down day for me to jump back in. Because like when I was looking at it, it was like at the end of June, it was like 179 bucks, and then by the end of October, it was like $230. So that is actually great. That for a blue chip solid dividend paying company to grow like that, for me was like, whoa, we've got to settle down. We can't be buying this right now. I think it's going to have to pull back at some point. And normally I would say, as a long-term investor, specifically with dividends and stuff, you need to make sure the company sustains its dividends. That is the goal, to put it in your portfolio. But you also don't want to buy in at a horrible opportunity. And I wouldn't say try to time the market, but when something grows that fast in a mega cap big company in that short amount of time is purely off of like a hype news story and what have you. So I've been waiting for it to pull back a little bit, and it has. And so you guys, that company is going to be McDonald's. So McDonald's currently at the $210 mark. You can see today I don't know what just happened to them right there, but that's rough. But if we scroll down here, you can see that their dividend is a 2.33%. Their PE ratio is around 33, which is a little bit high, I'm not gonna lie. So usually on my dividend company investments, like blue chip ones, 20 and below, 25 and below is where I look. Usually growth stocks will have higher PE. So like, but like 33, I mean, I guess it could be worse. But the company like McDonald's, I'm not too worried about it. And so with a dividend company, it's very important to look at the payout ratio of the dividend, basically how much of the earnings of the cash of the money that the company makes, percent wise, are they giving back to shareholders. So that's very crucial in the history of the dividends and the dividend growth. So in McDonald's case, we are looking at a 64% payout ratio, which is a little bit high. I usually like 60 and below. So I mean, it's McDonald's though, so I'm not too concerned. And it has been increasing its dividend about 9.4% every single year. That's pretty nutty. That's a big increase. That's pretty good. And on top of that, they have been paying out and growing this dividend for 44 years. This isn't some, you know, like slumdog, you know, like sketchy ass dividend with like a 14 dividend ratio. This is McDonald's. This is an international company. It's McDonald's. Okay, they got the McNugget. They had them spicy nugget. They got rid of them, okay? But I had to try them. You know, I had to try it. And I gotta say, I was a little bit impressed, but not like tremendously impressed. So if you're this far in the video with me and you're still here, can you just comment spicy nuggets? Because I kind of low-key wish they would bring them back. So I'll get back to the stocks now. So you guys already know that when I invest in long-term dividend companies that I plan on holding for a long time, it's not only important clearly to have good financials in a company and understand the financials and make sure they are A1, it's also very important to think outside of that. And I've said this, I don't know how many times, but to be a consumer of a good, to understand the business, to partake in the service or product or whatever as a consumer, and really critically think about the long-term outlook of the business itself. I can't emphasize that enough, but here are kind of my thought process behind the McDonald's and what's going on with them right now. First, the McRib is back. Just kidding. That's not it, but it is back apparently. I've never had a McRib. People go nutty. They wild out over this McRib. I don't understand. Let me know down below if you're a McRib fan and I'm just missing out, because But second thing, and really the first thing, is the fact that it is McDonald's. It's an international brand. It's a company all around the world. You see the golden arches, you literally know who it is. It's that brand recognition that I talk about all the time. It's hard to run into someone who's never heard of McDonald's before, or even probably have not had something off the menu at McDonald's, whether that be a Coke or a coffee, and their Coke is, their Sprite. I never get regular Coke, ever. Even if I go to McDonald's, I don't, but like you should, because it's the best Coke. But there is this sense of kind of like home for us in America. They're like on every corner, but if you travel abroad in places that they have a McDonald's, which is a lot of places, it just kind of has that nostalgic kind of American, if you're living in America, going somewhere else, vibe to it. And that's kind of a big thing. That brand loyalty and recognition is a huge thing for longevity of a company. 2, they're weathering the pandemic. I mean, restaurants have been deemed essential, at least a minimum of takeout. So they've been open, they've been working through the pandemic. And so, you know, it's weathered an economic shutdown. So if it can make it through that, I'm pretty confident it's going to continue to make it. And I'm sorry if you hear that hot mess out there. Oh my, the audacity, man, come on, knock it out. And then the last thing that I want to mention about it, which is kind of like, it makes sense, but it's not like the greatest reason, it kind of sucks, but fast food in general has kind of an addictive property to it. And so people who eat a lot of fast food, and I'll just talk about, I guess, McDonald's at this point, are like almost addictive. They crave it, so it means they're gonna go back to it. It's kind of this unhealthy situation. And like, I can't lie, there are days where I'm like, oh my God, I literally almost never eat McDonald's, but sometimes I'm like, yo, I just want it. And then I go and get it. But there's like this sense of addictiveness. If you start to eat that all the time, it's like a drug for your brain and your body. Like, you crave it. And so that's good for business. I kind of look at it like, you know, the tobacco industry and how people are addicted to cigarettes. Like, they're going to continue to buy those products, whether it's good for them or not. It's morally probably not the best investment, but on a business standpoint, plus the ease of it, you know, you got a van full of yapping kiddos and they're hungry and you just go through McDonald's and that's that. So there's ease, it's fast food. I mean, it's McDonald's, and I think I'll probably just leave it at that. All right, so stock number 2 is one that I had an eye on like, I don't know, 10, 11 months ago or a little less, and then just kind of disregarded it and just forgot about it, and kind of more recently have been looking at it again. And regardless, I kind of feel like this company and this stock and this addition to any long-term, specifically dividend portfolio, would be a great addition, kind of like no matter what. But that stock is going to be Kimberly-Clark, you guys. So it's currently at about $137, but I pulled up the 1 year on this chart because I originally started looking at this when the pandemic started. And so that would bring us around this March level where it was down to about 110, 12, and then it just started soaring because of Kimberly-Clark and what they do, which is produce brands like Kleenex, Scott paper towel, and diapers and stuff like that. And so they're just kind of cruising on this serious uptrend all the way to like 160 bucks. And then we had a pullback here in August, but it did shoot back up again in October, and now we're kind of coming back down, and that is why it has kind of re-entered my brain. And I will explain that in a minute, but if we scroll down here, the dividend's at 3, the PE ratio is a 20.5, which I like a lot. Market cap, it's a big company, it's blue chip, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, but I just wanted to kind of explain myself there as to why it was on the radar, it was off the radar, now we're on the radar. So the important numbers for the dividend stocks, the payout ratio of this company is a 62%. Every single year it's growing this dividend by 3.85%, which is still very good, and it has been paying out and growing this dividend for 48 years. I kind of already explained why it's now on my radar when I kind of forgot about it, just because I knew the pandemic was going to increase this stock price. And so now that we have news of vaccines coming out in literally like a week or two, and then they can be available for everyone if you want it in probably a few months, I'm more looking at this because I think it may be a good time to buy into it. I think the hype, I think the inflated price of it is come back down to a much more fair value, a much more reasonable value. And you may say, well, wouldn't that cause the price to just continue lower because the pandemic and things like that may ease a little bit? And I would say no. I think it's brought it back down to its fair value, because prior to the pandemic it was trading around the same amount. And it's just such a solid company. Like, you're gonna need paper towel, you're gonna need Kleenex, you're gonna need freaking Huggies and diapers for your kids. Like, it's one of those kind of home necessity companies that produce brands that you use every single day pay just to live your life. And companies like that usually are always pretty good. A little added factor here is they do have that annualized growth for their dividend. They do have that 48-year history, but in addition to that, they're very close to being dividend kings. Dividend kings are companies that pay out for at least 50 years, and so they are so close that they're not gonna mess that up. They are now entering a very elite royal kind of status. If you guys want to know what I bought in the month of November, I will link that down in the first comment below. I'll pin it up there, you could check it out, and I go into a little bit more explanation as to what's going on with me. That sounded kind of weird, but it is what it is. So you guys, what are your eyes on in December? Comment down below, let me know, because you already know how I feel about that. You guys, if you could, please smash the thumbs up button. You already know the drill and how that helps us a lot. And I am forever grateful for every single one. And if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing by hitting the MB in the bottom corner or the red subscribe button down underneath the video. Join the crew, join the fam. I do post 2 times a week on this channel about money, stocks, investing, finance, the good shit. I like to make money and have a good ass time. So if you're into that, please consider subscribing. And y'all already know the Patagonia hat is here. I had some people wonder where it was. They don't go anywhere, okay? And y'all still really do like the MVP kisses. So you guys, if you've made it this far, you are the real MVP. Come here, you know I love you. And like I say at the end of every single one of my videos, you guys, enjoy the journey, whatever your journey is. And always remember to do it, set your hearts on fire. And I will see y'all in my next video. All right, bye guys.